So yeah, so this is our new demonstrator. Obviously, it had to take a little bit of a back step because Bob initially took the first one. So this is in the
I was laughing about that because Bob's car, it was sold before it was even finished, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So we were building it. We were building it for ourselves. We got it ready for paint. So all the rolling gear done. He then came on and says, "Nope, I want that one." So yes. So this is our new one. We are actually waiting for an engine to arrive.
Okay. What engine? What engine to go? Because Bob's had was it the 4.2 straight 6 Jag engine in that on throttle bodies? I think.
Yeah, that's right. So that was the 4.2 on the Gen V Heritage throttle bodies. This will be exactly the same. So a standard engine, but still, quite peppy, 240 odd horsepower, 250 horsepower. But goes through the UK emissions without any issues. We don't want it to, and it drives really nicely. I did about 120 mile in it prior to delivery. Loved every minute of it, and it was faultless.
Brilliant.
So hopefully within the next probably 8 weeks, we should get moving on that. We're just waiting for the engine. We're literally actually dropping the engine off, or the core engine off, to the engine builder tomorrow, so he can start the rebuild.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
You mentioned before, because I'll bring it up again because the sound was a little bit iffy at the start. But you do a lot of exports as well, and you've now got a distributor out in the United States, haven't you? And you also displayed at one of the biggest Ford exhibitions as well.
So yeah, so the big Ford show in America, I think it's called the Carlisle Ford show. So it's a ginormous Ford show in America, and I'm sure the Americans do shows a lot bigger and better than we do over here. So he exhibited there. He had what they call a booth over there, which is, a tent basically.
I saw that.
Yeah. Ironically, he was asked on day one by the organisers if he could take his new GT40 into the main booth, the main arena where they all sit and do. It went in there with all the other GT40s. Had a great response. One of the best cars at the show. So he was thrilled to bits. He's obviously very worried. How will the car be received in the States? And he said, I haven't got to worry about it. He said, the quality is exceptional compared to some of the American ones. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, that's a great compliment.
Yeah. Last weekend he did a Cobra show, I believe, because he does hard tops for Cobras as well as our Cobras. So he was at a Cobra show all weekend. So no, it's going really, really well.
Yeah, especially on the exports. I see the likes of GBS have all got distributors out in the States, Canada. MK Sports Cars. I saw them last night. They shipped 6 kits out to the United States. And a big market out there. I don't think there's many manufacturers of kit cars out in the States. I from what I gather.
No, I think we will probably sell them as what they call a turnkey minus. So we completely build the car here, but send it over without an engine and gearbox. Okay. That's the normal route of selling GT40s in America. We will obviously sell them as a kit out there, but I think the core work will be turnkey minus. That's where Ryan takes over. He can do all the installation of an engine and a gearbox and register it and hand the keys over to them for a fully legal car.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the people out because with 7 Spot, it's an international group, and they were trying to explain. And I was talking to a lot of people about how the registration process works in the United States, and it depends which state you're in. Some are quite lax. Some are very, very stringent. I mean, California, but it's very interesting. I mean, obviously in the UK, we've just got IVA, emissions tests and blah, blah, blah. But It's completely different.
Yeah, really strange, because actually that was sort of one of the worries. You know, we'd get the car finished. It had the new Coyote engine in. You know,
a 5-litre V8 Coyote. That's in your Juniper car, which sounds.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. My mate had a. Well, you know, my mate had a driver.
He did.
At Santa Pod. I was following it in Tilly.
Yes.
With your daughter, and when you booted that was the best sounding car for me. That Coyote V8 when you booted it, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but actually, you know, Ryan registering the car, he filled all the correct paperwork in, took it to his local licensing office. We supply a certificate of origin proving it's been built in the UK.
Okay. A lot of people ask about those, especially in the European continent, like France. Almost impossible to get a car registered there without a COC. But it's great.
That's slightly different, because a COC, certificate of conformity, we don't have that. We basically have a certificate of origin, so it's proving where it's been built. So yes, certificate of conformity is type approval. Basically, it's very, very expensive to obtain.
You got to
but for not many people do
all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
I know MK were looking at it. Caterham. Well, Caterham's Caterham, but yeah, there are a couple out there. But there's I think about the date of registration as well, which is why people, I shouldn't say it, they buy old Duttons and then repurpose the paperwork. It's totally legal, but there are ways around it. But I wouldn't do it. Let's put it that way.
No, you know, in America it was very, very straightforward. You know, the GT40 that we sent out there, it's actually now registered as a 1966 Ford GT.
Okay, you got another classic car.
No, in America, they actually register them to the age the cars were originally designed and built.
Okay, yeah.
Not how old the car you've got in front of you is.
Or the engine.
So, so it's registered as a 66. I think his equivalent road tax, because back in 66, I think they were $5,500 to buy. I think his road tax is something like $45. You know, it's the cheapest car he's got out there to run. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I'm glad the exports are going well, and the obviously the shows. I'm going to come on to and talk about your cars, because they all have names. They all have names. So
they do.
You know, anybody who's know anything about AK sports cars, we all refer to them as names. As I say, my favourite two are Juniper, your GT40, and also there it is. There's Juniper, 5-litre Coyote engine. Been in that or followed it, and then what's my second one? Tilly's me also my second favourite Cobra. That's got, it's a number 3 one. That's got I think
that's got an
LS3.
It has.
LS3.
Yeah, there she is. Look.
Oh, there she is. Gorgeous. And that's the one you took to Le Mans Classic a couple of years ago as well, because I remember.
That's right.
One of our members filmed you pulling up on the Northwest Kit Car Owners Group stand.
Yeah, and that's right.
It was quite amusing, because they were filming from the front as you pulled in and backed it up. But all the people on the banking behind all looked behind to see what was reversing up. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, your cars always have a great presence.
Yeah, we've got a few in here at the minute. Just wander through the showroom. We've got
wow.
We've got quite a few in. We just finished building this one, actually. This is a left-hand drive one. Going out to
left-hand drive as well, yeah.
Yeah, this one goes out to Tenerife next week.
Wow, and that's a turnkey car. That's a turnkey car, obviously, for him.
That's a brand new car. Yeah.
Wow. Your showroom looks amazing. Keep walking.
Yeah. So we just bought this one in. Bumblebee. So you're talking about names. This one was called Bumblebee.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. Yeah, super built by a gentleman, John Greenwood, and he's had it a one-owner car, very authentic. Yeah, beautiful car.
Looks
so yeah, so that one is Blueberry. Sorry, that one is Bumblebee.
Yeah.
That's Timmy Turbo. So that's the big horsepower.
I've not heard of Timmy Turbo, but obviously with the name Turbo, that's going to be a big number horsepower wise.
Yeah, so that's sort of between 800 and 1,000 horsepower.
Wow.
I know, bit silly, really.
Yeah.
No, we've got all our own front independent tubular wishbone suspension, which is actually now mimicked on the D-Type. So the D-Type is based on the same chassis, slightly modified to accept the body, but other than that, it's exactly the same chassis.
Brilliant. I was going to mention about your D-Type because that is it's pretty much the same chassis as your Cobras, but obviously just altered a little bit for the body shape. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So all the suspension mounting points are the same. It's literally just a few of the outer chassis rails are slightly narrower to accept the body. So, the problem with the D-Types was always cockpit space. Struggled with space in the cockpit because everybody used to be my height and nice and small and dinky. But we've now. Go on.
I was going to say, I'm 6 foot and I fitted in Tilly absolutely no problem, and I had to, loads of space in your Cobras and the GT40 as well.
Yeah, so we've now incorporated the sort of the cockpit size into the D-Type because it was a bit smaller. So you'd be able to fit in the D-Type. So when it's done, you'll have to come and take it for a drive.
Definitely. Well, when I win the lottery, I'll be. I know who I'll be ringing. Let's put it that way. But you also don't obviously. Well, you obviously build cars and export and blah blah blah. But you also do servicing as well. And people have a problem with the car, they can bring it into you. And you don't just do AK cars either. You do all sorts of kit cars.
Yeah, it's we would much rather just work on AK Cobras, the GT40s and the D-Types, because obviously we know our way around.
That's what you know. Yeah.
But yeah, we do servicing, we do repairs, we do insurance work. In fact, we've got a GT40 in here that Danny's working on.
Say hello to Danny.
Say hello, Danny. Wave.
Yeah, good luck for your wedding, because that's you've got a wedding coming up as well. That's only in two weeks, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a week. Week on Thursday. So he said, "Good luck with the wedding."
Yeah. No worries. Have they got a wedding car to go in?
Yeah, they have. I think I can find one. Yeah. So this GT40 has been customer built. It's come in for us to finish it off, do a few little bits, and then prep it, put it through the IVA test, and get it registered for him. So
you can do that all for them, and you do suspension setups, rolling road tunes as well. I know you've not got rolling road tunes here, but you can for them. Yeah,
we've got a local firm that we use for rolling roads, a couple of firms actually. So that can be done. There's another 40 out there that, again, that's in for IBA prep and get through the test. So anything and everything really.
Brilliant. And I was going to talk about, I've not mentioned it actually, but happy birthday, because AK Sports Cars is 40 years old this year.
I know. How old does that make me feel?
Tell us a bit about that, how it's, obviously 40 years, but how you started.
How it evolved.
How it evolved, yeah.
Yeah, so my father, Ken, who's still about, bless him.
Yeah, Ken, I've seen a lot of videos. Yes, he's always at the show, always at the shows as well, isn't he? Lovely bloke. Yep.
So Ken's still about. He went to a kit car show to build a kit car. Went to Stoneleigh show, and was going to buy a 4-seater Janetta back in the day, and that's what he was. That's what he was going to build. he saw a Cobra and changed his mind and said, "No, I'm going to build a Cobra."
Okay.
So built his first car. And then he built one for a friend as a hobby. The bodies that he was buying were pretty poor. So he was a 50% partner in a glass fiber company. So he ended up making his own body mold. And that's how it all started.
Wow. Okay.
He then met a guy that was a fabricator who had got a Cobra at one of the Cobra Club meets. They got together, sat down and designed a chassis and put the body on the chassis. And that's kind of how it all started. You know, I can remember being 14 or 15, going to the car show, you know, with just a body back then, trying to sell it, you know, and then I've been doing this full time for 25 years now, and part time for, you know, 10 years prior to that. So yeah, but he still pops into the workshop every once a week, says hello. He only lives about 4 bar down the road. He comes and borrows a car every now and then if it's sunny.
I don't blame him. I absolutely don't blame him. So I mean that's great. You know, from somebody just visiting a car show to setting up a business and getting up. And now you've been going for 40 years. You're probably one of the longest running, I think, kit car manufacturers out there.
I believe so.
Tim Dutton maybe might
well, yeah, but yes, I was going to say it's close, but yes, we've been, you know, and admittedly for the first probably 5 or 6 years, it was more a hobby than a business. It was actually initially he called himself KF Premier, Ken Freeman, KF Premier. It was called for about 5 or 6 years before it turned into AK, and the AK is the fabricator was called Alan. My dad is Ken, so hence the AK.
Now you've mentioned that, I understand it. I should have asked about where the AK comes from, because I was interested in car names and where they come from or where they originate. A bit like MK, which was Martin Keenan, which is no longer Martin Keenan, but now they're modern classics. And very interesting to hear the history of kit car manufacturers and where the names come from.
Ironically, I had a customer in this week looking at second-hand cars, and he had a magazine from 1991, I believe it was. And it was interesting, you know, I had to flick through it and saw some of their suppliers, you know, and you know, Chris from Brasscraft, he looks about 17 in it.
That is a name. That is a name and a company that I recognise. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes the window screens for the Cobras.
Yes.
So it it was quite interesting. But yeah, been around a long while, seen it all, been there and done it.
Yeah.
But you know, still bringing new models out and enjoying doing it. You know, and that's part of the fun.
Exactly. Although you had your C-Type as well, which we did a documentary on.
That was the SS. That was the SS. Yeah, we still offer the SS.
I remember that, I think it was Wendy was telling me at one of the car shows, it sells particularly well in Canada for some reason. I don't know why.
I think the problem over here is, unless you were really into your history on Jaguar, nobody knew what the car was because it was so rare.
There's only 16 built. Only 16 built.
That's right. Out the 25. So they was super rare. People didn't understand what it was. So it was a bit of a hard sell. Hence, we decided to build a D-Type that everybody knows. I actually think it's a prettier car. And you know, we've had an awful lot of interest. You know, I just put a couple of pictures on a D-Type page, and you know, had 200 or 300 comments within 2 days. You know, it was it's quite astonishing.
A lot of interest. A lot of people well, we'll say moan. A lot of people don't like the big fin, but that's what they were designed for, because it reduced yaw and it gave it high speed stability.
Yeah,
especially on the Mulsanne straight when it was doing what 170. But you do offer it with just the rear hump, so not the full fin, but you do offer it with
that's right.
the rear hump as well, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got the full fin or the smaller hump. We do those two. The smaller hump one doesn't have a passenger door. That's all filled in. That's in the mould. And obviously we offer a long nose or a short nose bonnet. Most of them had long nose, but we do offer a short nose as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
So both Bob's and our new car are both long nose with the fin.
Yes. I have to say, and that colour choice that Bob went for, I know you and Wendy weren't sure about, but I think it looks absolutely stunning, and yeah,
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful colour. A Land Rover colour, and everybody that's I think it was Pangira Green. But everybody that's seen it.
It doesn't come across in some of the pictures, but it had definitely got a little green tinge to it. So
everybody that's seen it has gone, you know what, we would have never thought that would work, but it's stunning. We're actually going to change the interior on this. This was Bob's interior colour. We're actually going to go black with this one, but we did a couple of samples just to see what it would look like. But yeah, so we're going to go with more traditional black interior.
Yes. Yeah.
And what number should we put on it? That's the big thing.
Well, you could put 40 because it's your 40th anniversary.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, we could put 40 on it. I think Wendy will come up with something crazy. You know, we have what have we got? We've got number 8 on Juniper.
Yeah, that's my favourite car. That's my favourite car. So,
and that's because we our office and showroom is number 8.
Oh, okay.
It's Unit 8. So if I walk down here, look, you can you see it?
Impressive. Yes. You do a lot of open days as well, which any mark of car are more than welcome to turn up. You don't have to have an AK-47.
No. No, you know, we're not snobby and horrible. You know, it's a passion thing. And if you've got a Garda Douglas or a Dax or a Pilgrim, you know, you're more than welcome to come. Of course you are. In fact, we're going out tomorrow. We're going out tomorrow in them. So I'm going to take my 40. My friend's coming to drive Tilly. And my painter's coming in his Cobra, and we're going to go down and see Mark and Alex at Total Head Turners. They have an open day tomorrow.
Ah, brilliant. Total Head Turners. Yeah, I've been following them as well, obviously. Well, everyone knows about Total Head Turners cars and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Excellent. So we're gonna pop down and see them tomorrow.
Excellent. You definitely got the weather for it. I mean, the weather's been. I mean, the UK is normally dreadful for weather, but just recently we've had about 4 weeks of just constant sunshine.
Yeah.
A couple of thunderstorms, but yeah, brilliant weather.
No, it's lovely. The aircon will be on overtime tomorrow in the GT40.
Yeah, I noticed that at Kitfest when he took your mate down the quarter mile, and it was the same. It was the same with all GT40s, because when we were just queuing up, engines running, and you weren't at full chat, they all opened their doors.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the door. This is why the doors are open now, because it's been sat outside all day.
Okay.
And it's a bit warm in there, so it can sit with the doors open tonight, waiting for tomorrow.
Yeah, just let it cool out, ready for tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stunning workshop, and as I say, if anyone needs maintenance or service or whatever, they can bring it into you. You can do all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
Do you do engine upgrades as well? If someone says, don't like this engine, can I drop this in? Or
yeah, you know, we do. to be honest with you, a lot of people with their Cobras don't tend to go and upgrade engines, because by the time they've, bought an engine for £10,000, spent, 2 or 3 with us swapping it over, they tend to trade the car in and take a better spec one. So, so that tends to happen. But no, we do engine work. Recently just put another engine in a supercharged LS3. We actually had all the gearbox out in that 40 because there was a leak in bearing. So yeah, mechanical work. We do everything.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Right, well, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. Happy 40th
lovely talking to you, buddy. Thank you very much.
No problem. Happy 40th birthday. Hope your exports go well.
Yep.
And we'll definitely catch up soon, certainly at some of the shows. And yeah, I know my neighbour, you're talking about in Juniper, but at one of the shows I want to go in it as well. So
you're more than welcome. But I have to say, I'm very jealous that you're going to Le Mans next weekend.
Yeah,
middle of next week.
Yeah, I'm not. I have got my Le Mans T-shirt on actually.
Yeah, get you.
I'm not going, but yeah, as I say.
Oh, good. I'm pleased about that. I was going to go, but it's a bit too close to Danielle's wedding. So.
Well, I was going to say 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So next year I'll go.
Yeah, hope that goes well. So
I'm sure it will. It'll be fine.
Brilliant. Great talking.
Brilliant. All right then, John.
Yeah, in the meantime, be seeing you.
Be seeing you.